from Teach Pre-K, and as you can tell, I have almost no voice. I wanted to do a video in my classroom this morning about my Friends and Family Week that I'm doing this week, and to show you some of the activities, my free choice centers, things like that. If I feel good enough, I'll do it on Thursday if I have some kind of voice. But every year, excuse me, every year I do a little video about taking care of yourself and how taking care of yourself means different things to different people. And as teachers, especially of little kids who literally cough and sneeze right in our faces on the regular, and have their fingers in their noses and down their pants, and we can't be on top of everything. We try to sanitize and have them wash their hands as much as we can, but try as we might, we're going to get sick. And I worked today. I actually had a voice, but this is what happened. Okay, my first week of school, if you've been watching my videos, I got into a car wreck. I rear-ended somebody and hit them very, very hard. My car is totaled. Had to return the rental car today. Luckily, my youngest daughter is with her husband in Vermont doing an orthopedic surgery rotation, so I have her car for this week. So I have a car this week. After that, I don't have a car. I'll have a car eventually, so I'm just trying to think, oh, this is fine. I'll eventually have a car. But, so that was my first week of school, and I missed that Thursday because I was really shaken up by the accident. I got my car home, and, I thought, oh, it's drivable. I look up, and there's smoke just coming out of the engine. Leaked everything onto my driveway. We had to get it towed. It was just a mess. But, so I didn't go to school that day. So I didn't do a full week of school. So the next week, we had back to school night on Wednesday. So Wednesday, I have this headache, this just terrible headache. And I think, I haven't had a migraine in years. And this sure feels like a migraine. It's all over my head and it's just pounding. But I'm not sensitive to light. I'm not nauseated. I'm just like, man, this is a killer headache. So I was popping Tylenol all day because I'm like, I'm going to be here till 8 o'clock at night. And I have to talk to parents and everything else. So did my full day of school. Did my back to school night. Talked with all the parents. Did a big song and dance about keeping your kids home from school if they're sick, because the people that get sick are the adults. And then we end up not having teachers. Well, I went to bed with this massive headache and woke up during the night several times just going, my throat's kind of hurting. I'm starting to feel congested. I think I have a cold. And when I got up in the morning, I'm like, okay, I have an 88-year-old mother who weighs about 90 pounds. And if I have COVID, I can't get my mom sick. And she's in an assisted living center. I don't want to spread COVID to the assisted living center. So that morning, so this is a Thursday morning right after back to school night, I said, okay, talking to myself in my head, I said, okay, if this is just a cold, even though I feel crappy, I will power through the day. Listen to me, right? I'll power through the day because I wasn't there last Thursday and I work Monday through Thursday. I have Fridays off. So I'm like, I can't do 2 Thursdays in a row. I have not done a full week of school. So I tested bright positive immediately. I haven't had COVID for 3 years. I thought I had COVID superpowers and was just not getting COVID when everyone around me was getting COVID. So not only did I have COVID, but I had a really bad case of COVID. I wasn't hospitalized, but I've been really, really, really sick for 6 days. Um, what happened was this, because the day I had the giant headache, I didn't say, I've got the biggest headache and Tylenol's not taking it away. I've got to go home and take care of myself. I put my school first, my kids first, my back to school night first, right? Stayed for all that. Luckily, I had the good sense to take a COVID test the next day, and I stayed home. My principal, God love her, I know she had to be in a tight spot, but she said, nobody thinks COVID's a big deal anymore. Just wear a mask if you're not feeling sick. And I emailed her back or texted her back and said, I wouldn't have tested myself if I didn't feel sick. I'm not one of those people who's testing themselves if they're not sick, right? So I stayed home and I got sicker and sicker. Friday, don't even remember. I call it my coma day because I was asleep the entire day. I hardly ate anything. I had a fever for 6 days. Turned out my aide got sick. The teacher across the hall, who's my teacher bestie, got sick with COVID. Her daughter got sick with COVID. The aide from down the hall got sick. There's 6 teachers and aides in our preschool. 4 got COVID. And I'm going to blame myself. They got COVID. Yeah, I didn't know I had COVID, but I didn't take care of myself. I didn't say, you know what, I can't do this. I've got this huge headache and I'm starting to feel really tired and I don't feel good. Sorry, but I'm going to try to make my voice a little bit better. So I'm looking at it this way, like I'm not blaming myself because I probably got COVID from a little kid who had a runny nose, because that's all my friend's daughter got. She only tested her daughter because she knew I had COVID. So this little girl had COVID, but it was such a slight case that her mom would have sent her to school. So I'm sure I had a few runny noses. Even though it's only been 2 weeks of school, there's been some runny noses, not the, really yellowy ones. But during my back to school night, I said, as part of me taking care of myself, I'm not accepting sick kids into my classroom anymore. So if kids are hacking up a lung or they have stuff coming out of their nose that's any color other than clear, I'm not taking those kids. Don't tell me they have just a little bit of diarrhea, because I ended up getting this horrible gastrointestinal illness called C. diff that lasted for 6 months. I lost 15 pounds, which was marvelous, but I was very, very ill. So the way I take care of myself is I don't let the sick kids come to my classroom, and I make it really clear to my parents. So for those of you who are just starting out, don't be afraid to do that. I wouldn't want someone who sounded like me teaching my small children. I didn't sound like this in the daytime. This is from talking all day with congestion, that kind of postnasal congestion. But, and I have a weak voice, so it will always go away. But all those parents that I told that, I had to sit down and write an email saying, I exposed all of your kids to COVID because I didn't do for myself what I want you to do with your kids. I want you to keep sick kids home. I knew something wasn't quite right with me, but I thought, I'll just power through this. And I got 5 other people sick. We had to close our preschool on Monday, not because we were some big, COVID hotspot, but because we had no staff. So the simple act of taking care of yourself, for those of you who need to hear this because you're always putting everyone else first, like most of us are, especially those of us in this profession, the simple act act of taking care of yourself ends up taking care of everybody else around you too. If I would have taken care of myself a little bit more properly, maybe those other people wouldn't have gotten sick. I mean, I don't know for sure. But, so I'm not going to be this guilty thing that haunts me or anything. But it really showed me how if people are keeping their kids home when they've got those runny noses and those little dry coughs, because really most of the time I only had a dry cough, that means that they're not just taking care of their children, they are taking care of their children's teachers, their children's teachers' families, the other teachers, like on and on and on. And I want everybody to really, really prioritize taking care of yourself this year. We say this every year. I say this every year. I gotta prioritize taking care of myself. But I think the fact that I've got off to kind of a rocky start to the beginning of the year, I did take care of myself the day of the car accident. I took care of my mental health. I was not in a good place. I was shaking head to toe, and it was really frightening to me. Another thing is the part of the body of my car pushed back so far I couldn't get my door open. So when I had all this smoke thinking my engine could start on fire, I thought I was trapped inside my car. So there was just a lot of panicky stuff that happened that day. So I did take care of my mental health that day. But then I was like, well, because I did that, this headache, I can't leave. I gotta power through this, No, you don't. Take care of yourself. You can use this story as, this friend of mine ended up getting 6 other people sick and they couldn't staff their school. So I'm going to stay home because I don't want to risk us having to cancel school, which for some people means a big loss of funds for some of those hourly employees that get sick. Maybe they don't have sick time, on and on and on. It's just an example of how taking care of yourself is taking care of everybody else. So take care of yourself. And if you have to use the excuse of taking care of other people, do that. And make sure that if you didn't talk to your parents about keeping sick kids home at your back to school night, put it in an email, a very nicely worded email, and really put it that we all need to take care of each other. Because if we put it in that kind of frame that we're all taking care of each other, the response is really pretty awesome. You'll be amazed at how great people are. Yes, it's a pain if they have to miss work or work from home or whatever when their child is sick, but I'm quite convinced that somebody's sick child, got me to where I am right this minute, and the fever for 6 days and everything. And bless their hearts, I don't blame them. This is rough. But your child sniffles, or somebody's child sniffles, or your headache could be someone else's flu, COVID. You don't know if they have other respiratory issues that you don't know about yet. My daughter's asthma was horrible when she was a child, so I was very protective of her and her health, and I always kept her home when she presented even the slightest bit of illness. But rule number 1, take care of yourself. It's like being on the airplane with the stewardess. The stewardess, I was a flight attendant, I should know better. The flight attendant tells you to put the mask on yourself, then help those around you who aren't able. You always have to take care of yourself first. Then you can be a better caretaker to everyone else around you. So that's my pep talk for all of you teachers out there. You'll have a day this year where you sound about this good. It's part of being a preschool teacher. So if you are somebody who gets sick really easily, sanitize like mad. Sanitize your room. They sanitized my room for me when I was gone. Bless them. We did our best today. I wore a mask all day today. So take care of yourselves. And if you haven't started school yet, I hope you have the greatest start to the school year. If you have started school, I hope your start has been a whole lot better than mine. And if there's anything I can do to make it better, please, please, please let me know. Just drop a little comment, and whatever is mine is yours, basically, or at least I'll try. So have a great one. Thanks for watching.